What's up, y'all? This is Thomas Reed III here from Adams State University, class of 2020, and here's my XFL backstory. So started off with me playing football since the age of 4, turning 5. Started playing football out in Brentwood, New York. Grew up there, started playing there, and then I transferred to Deer Park, New York. Finished out my middle school and high school career. By the time 9th grade hit, my dad, my grandfather, and my aunt, they were diagnosed with a kidney disease called FSGS. So started playing football for the love of the game, but obviously started playing for a bigger purpose. And started putting my family at peace to kind of see me out there, you know, dealing with all of the family issues. My grandmother had a stroke at that time. So I ended up finishing out my freshman year there, sophomore year there. Junior year rolls around for me. I ended up blowing my knee out. It's called the unhappy tryout, and for those that don't know, it's ACL, MCL, meniscus repair surgery that I had done at Stony Brook Hospital. I ended up recovering from that my junior year. Going into my senior year, I had a fantastic senior year. Ended up getting invited to play in a Blue-Gray All-American game, the New York versus New Jersey All-Star game, and then I was also invited to play for the Team USA U19 National Olympic football team, where we had training camp in D.C., and then they flew me out to Kuwait in the Middle East, and we ended up playing out there. Sadly, while I was out there, though, playing against Japan, I ended up getting injured again. My other knee, it was like the 3rd or 4th game, but I didn't know the severity of it, so I ended up playing in the championship game against Canada. They ended up pulling me out, and we ended up beating Canada in that game. So we came back winning a gold medal at the age of 17, but going into fall camp that year for my freshman year of college at Lackawanna, was unable to perform, so I ended up taking the year off and just focusing on rehab and recovering from the knee surgery. Throughout that time, though, getting closer to fall of 2015 to report back to Lackawanna College for camp my freshman year, I ended up being diagnosed with a heart disease called HCM, hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. So I spent the entire year pretty much, again, having to take the year off because of my heart disease at that time. By the end of fall of 2015, I ended up transferring to Nassau Community College to kind of still continue pursuing my degree. But I also transferred because my dad was now starting dialysis for his kidney disease. So the disease got worse. My grandfather started dialysis, and so did my aunt. By the time I got to Nassau, I was doing a lot of medical testing and stuff like that, and thank the Lord, and somehow I no longer had the disease. I ended up getting cleared by all of the doctors and all of the specialists to go out and play football again. So again, I go back to my purpose and trying to give my family that peace of going out there and playing again. And I ended up playing my freshman year at Nassau Community College, but it was a tough year because my dad was on dialysis. I was working 4 jobs at the time while being a full-time student and a full-time student athlete. I ended up transferring to ASA College in Brooklyn, finishing out my sophomore year. Coming to the end of my junior college career, I started getting some scholarship offers to a couple different schools, going on visits. And my dad comes to me one day and tells me that he got accepted on the transplant list at UC Health Hospital in Denver, Colorado. So I forgoed all my scholarships that I was getting offered to, and I told all the coaches I wasn't going to be able to attend their school. But the coaches that were actually offering me those scholarships, I tried to put those coaches to recruit my friends that weren't getting any scholarships, or my teammates that weren't getting any offers. And a couple of those coaches actually did end up offering my friends and my teammates to go to college so they can pursue their degrees and get their education as well and play ball. So I forego all my scholarships, and I reached out to every single school in the state of Colorado to try to go to school there. The last school to offer me a scholarship was Adams State University. And I ended up committing there, played my junior and senior year. By the end of fall 2019, going into spring of 2020 is when I started training for my NFL Pro Day. I got invited to the Pro Day for CSU Pueblo. I worked out for the Denver Broncos, Jets, and 49ers and Saints at my Pro Day. But throughout that time, COVID was in the conversation of the pandemic hitting in early 2020. So my dad ended up getting his transplant in New York, and so did my grandfather get their transplants done in New York at the end of February. So February rolled around, they got their transplant. New York is now officially on shutdown. They're dealing with the COVID. I had my pro day March 9th of 2020, and then a couple of days later, now that I finally have my shot, COVID hit, shut everything down for me as well. So I spent the year in Colorado training, trying to stay in shape, trying to do the best I can. I couldn't go back home to New York because I put my dad and my grandfather at a higher risk of infection, me training or working out or something like that. So I ended up staying in Colorado. At the end of 2020, I got invited to go to the FCF, Fan Control Football League tryout for their very first tryout that they ever hosted and they ever had. Went to that tryout, and this is where I actually performed extremely well, and Coach Wade Phillips, obviously for the Houston Roughnecks, actually interviewed me at that tryout. He made a couple jokes with me, told me he liked the way I performed, and him and I had a little short conversation there. So I'm thinking that I was going to get offered a contract. Didn't end up getting offered that year. So going into 2021, I ended up just having a whole nother year of training and staying in shape, waiting for my opportunity again because I never got it. At the end of 2021, a coach from the FCF ends up calling me back and telling me like, hey, we wanted you to play last year. Can you come play this year? And they ended up offering me a contract in 2022, the second season. So I ended up signing to that contract, going to play there. And sadly enough, I get there in March of 2022 and I get injured again. And I ended up missing the entire season. So I had surgery done on my knee again. And I spent the last year and a half till this day actually rehabbing, training, trying to look for another opportunity within itself. Throughout this last year and a half, all I've been doing is just rehabbing and also training and mentoring a lot of kids. This past year, I actually gave out my first scholarship. It's the Thomas Reed Senior Scholarship, where I offer $1,000 to a senior to go to college. I help him with his recruiting. Whatever school he decides to go to, that's where I send the check so I could pay for some books or some food or something for him to be at peace and continue on with his college career and have a good time, So I'm trying to make that positive change while I was dealing with this injury. And now that I got cleared recently, and now I'm pursuing my career again. I actually just hosted a workout at the Denver Broncos field house, my own pro day, where I did some numbers, trying to find a way to market myself, give myself an opportunity again. And I'm actually here now, located in Arizona, getting ready for the XFL tryout tomorrow. So it's been a long journey where taking care of my family who's been sick and ill, to dealing with the injuries that I've had, but still trying to make the change for the better of the kids and the next generation of athletes coming up, trying to teach the kids and the parents about recruiting so they don't have to go through the struggles that I did while I'm still trying to chase my dream. This is my opportunity. So I'm hoping that the story's fulfilling enough for you. In the XFL, and I just want to appreciate you guys for even giving me the opportunity to get back on the field and compete like this again. And I'm hoping to put on the XFL uniform next season. So thank you for watching and have a good one.